From a total douchebag to a lovable dork, Steve Harrington has won our hearts on Stranger Things. He's the protector of the young, the ultimate sidekick, and of course, keeper of the most badass hair. Who wouldn't root for him? But even the most die-hard fans of Stevie might not know a lot about him outside the show. Today, we'll be talking about his best moments in the series and facts about him that will shock you. For starters, Steve protects the kids from Billy.
Right. So my point is... Right, yeah, we're on the bench, so there's nothing we can do.
During the Battle of Starcourt in the third season finale, Steve, Robin, Dustin, and Erica are at Dustin's radio tower trying to help Hopper. But over the walkies, they hear that the spider monsters have infiltrated the mall. Back at the mall, Nancy and Jonathan are trying to get the car to start up when Billy, still under control of the Mind Flayer, starts racing toward them in his car. Nancy takes the stand against him with a handgun, but Billy still shows no signs of slowing. In the nick of time, Steve comes to save the day. He smashes into Billy's car and saves everyone in the vehicle. Then, they all speed away in the Toddfather. Dashing Harrington, always ready with a getaway car for a dashing escape. But this time wasn't the first time he stood up to Billy. Earlier, when babysitting the kids at the buyer's home, Steve is the only guardian around when Elle and Hopper attempt to close the gate. But when Billy shows up looking for Max, she cries out, "It's my brother. He can't know I'm here." Worry not, kids. Stevie comes to the rescue. He steps up to cover for Max, even though they only just met, and ends up in a fight with Billy. Sadly, our not-so-big guy loses, but he still saves Lucas and Max from the scary brother. Yep, he definitely is the mom of the group. Speaking of Mama Bear Steve, we simply adored his reunion with Dustin.
Henderson, he's back! He's back! I'm back! You got the job! You got the job!
The Hawkins jock and toothless nerd might not have a lot in common, so it was a surprise to us all when they became best buddies by the end of Season 2. In fact, the fandom swears this bromance is the best thing to come out of the show, and we couldn't agree more. When Dustin needs help to track down Dart, his secret pet Demogorgon, and couldn't find his pals around, he enlists the help of Steve and his trusty bat. This unlikely duo then get off to their wholesome banter as they walk along the train tracks. Steve doles out the kids some solid advice on his love life by telling them that the secret to getting the girl is acting like you don't care. Well, that didn't really go well for you, did it? But the best part, he shares the secret to his famed Harrington mullet. 4 pumps of the Farrah Fawcett hairspray. And sure enough, Dustin takes the advice. If we sit down to talk about their bromance, we'd have so many moments of heartwarming, fun, witty banter. But if we're to pick out our favorite moment of them, it's gotta be the reunion they have in Season 3. We were worried writers would just forget about these two in the new season and the time jump. But lucky for us, the father-son duo came back stronger than ever. When Dustin shows up at the mall, he's so happy to see that his mentors landed himself a job at Scoops Ahoy. The two fall into a big hug and catch up like old friends. What makes this scene even better is the judgy look and shade Robin throws at him for befriending so many kids. Next up, he's the best supporter to Robin when she comes out.
I'm gonna hold a tune. I'm just practically tone deaf. Have you heard her? All the time.
Robin coming out in Season 3 was one of the biggest plot twists we didn't see coming, and definitely, neither did poor lover boy Harrington. But after the two get drugged by Russians in Starcourt Mall, they end up having a heart-to-heart in the bathroom stall of the movie theater, where our golden boy finally confesses his feelings for her. But Robin quickly shuts him down, revealing she's a lesbian with a fat crush on Tommy Thompson. So how does he handle his second rejection in a row? Did he judge her for being a lesbian? No, he judged her for her bad taste in women, and the two laughed about it, putting the awkward confession well behind them. You can always rely on Harrington to crack a joke in an awkward situation, can't you? The way he handled the coming out/rejection was amazing, and the reason why Robin felt more comfortable about her sexuality. Now get this, the actress for Robin, Maya Hawke, later revealed that the duo was originally supposed to end up in a romantic relationship, but the pair pushed back against this until the Duffer brothers accepted. What we ended up loving about the two was how Steve later even hyped Robin up about her crush, like this iconic moment where he's trying to convince her Vicky likes girls. Yep, who can be a better wingman than our lovable dingus? Not to mention, Steve had his own confession moment in the latest season.
Brood of Harringtons, like 5, 6 kids.
6?
Yeah, 6 little nuggets. 3 girls, 3 boys.
He might be out there playing the babysitter most of the time, but we'd never guessed that in Season 4, our ex-playboy shared that his dream is to be a real-time dad. He confessed to Nancy that his dream was to have a full brood of Harringtons, 6 little nuggets. Guess all that babysitting of Hawkins kids kids sure got to his head. We hope they get their father's hair. But later on, he reveals that he's imagined Nancy in this fantasy too. What we absolutely adored about his confession to her in the season 4 finale was how vulnerable he gets, thanking him for giving him the biggest thump of his life. You can be Team Jancy or Team Stancy, but you have to admit, this was a pretty touching moment. Yes, when he's not busy playing babysitter or wingman, Harrington's got his own fat crush on Nancy Wheeler since season 1 that he just can't get over. Loverboy very romantically admitted that she's always been there, and we have to admit, we love rekindling of the old flames, don't we? Up next, Harrington's actor is quite close with Hopper. Now there's another unlikely duo we wouldn't have thought of. While the two have had little interaction in the storyline, the actors David Harbour and John Keary are best buds behind the scenes. Evan David Harbour playing Hopper is absolutely smitten by Harrington's actor, Joe Keery, and he's always posting on Instagram to show his love. Recently, he posted a collage with a disheveled Keery surrounded by symbols like Rob Lowe, Keanu Reeves, and a young George Clooney. He writes in the caption, "You know that feeling when you're crushing out on someone and you keep seeing their face everywhere you turn? We get you, Hopper." And get this, Keery even accepted a dare to shave his head if Harbour would win a Golden Globe in 2017. And we can't forget their on-set love triangle with the internet-famous Pomeranian. Harbour fell in love with one of the makeup girl's dogs and put a pic on Instagram with it, but to make him jealous, Joe started posting pictures of him and the dog to start an internet meme war. Who would have known that the Playboy of Hawkins and its sheriff are this tight? Moving on, Harrington in real life has a solid music career. Not only is he a theater kid and a super talented actor, but he was also part of the psych rock band Post Animal. Yup, before he was a jock and full-time babysitter, he was a talented guitarist and singer. He also started a solo music career calling himself Cool 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 when he wasn't touring with the band. Very cool indeed, Mr. Harrington. Sadly, in 2018, he quit the band as it got harder to fit into a schedule with Stranger Things, and he didn't want his band to suffer. But he's jumped back into the music scene and also performed his solo project, Joe. Kids, listening to Joe all day keeps Vecna and the Demogorgons away. But in white jumpsuit and shabby wig, we could barely tell it was our Stevie. The actor said that he thinks of David Bowie when dressing up, and the alternate look gives him freedom to do what he wants. Lastly, we bet you didn't know Steve was supposed to be a long-term character. When he first appeared in the show, we hated his guts. He was the classic 90s bad boy villain popular for his looks, with a snobby group of friends/bullies, and dated Nancy Wheeler. Back then, he was just a supporting antagonist in a love triangle, someone to hate as we root for Jonathan. But now, it would be very difficult to imagine the show without Harrington and his luscious locks. So, he went from an annoying jerk to a sidekick to now being the show's MVP. The fandom's just as protective of him as he is of the kids. Every time we fear he might be killed off, the fans push the writers with petitions and internet hashtags, threatening to revolt if any harm comes to our best boy. And that's a wrap for this video. What's your favorite Steve Harrington moment from the new season? Let us know in the comments below. Do give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell notification for similar videos. See you in the next one.